Have you done about 20 free trials on all these different pieces of software for your CRM or project management software, whatever it is that you use? It's because you got shiny object syndrome. Okay, let's do something cool. Hey guys, before we get into the video, I want you to hit subscribe right here, so I guess my ego is just better. Do you guys ever have the problem of choosing different pieces of software and tech with your company, and you go through like 20 different free trials and cancellations, and like you try this software, this CRM, this project management software, this email marketing software, and you go through it and you're like, okay, this doesn't really work for me. And it's just like an endless process. Believe me, I have been there. It's the most frustrating thing ever. And you know why it's frustrating for you? It's the same reason it's frustrating for me, is because you got the shiny object syndrome. What that means is that you see this shiny new thing that maybe you're getting ads on it, maybe you heard somebody talk about it and you're like, oh man, that looks really cool and I want to go try it for my business. I remember when I was first starting out with my marketing agency, and we went through so many pieces of software, project management software, CRMs, and I don't know how many different kinds, 25, 30, I don't know, I lost count. And it was the most frustrating thing because like we would actually like import some data, we would try it out for a while, and then we're like, okay, this is crap, it doesn't really work for our business. And then like, here's the worst part, is that we changed and altered the way we do business to fit this software. It's the most terrible thing ever. And so I figured it out. I was like, we're doing everything backwards. And so in this video, I'm gonna give you the cure to the shiny object syndrome. So part number one of this cure, so you don't have to go through this entire free trial mess, right? Trial and error mess of like going through all this software, is you need to reverse engineer this thing. So I just mentioned, like, I had the biggest problem of I was trying to alter the way I did business to fit the software that I bought. Like, it makes no sense. So let's reverse it and let's go backwards. What you need to do is actually flowchart. You need to flowchart your business processes. And so whatever that is, it could be sales processes, it could be project management processes, whatever it is, you need to flowchart that out and actually do it on like a piece of paper or a whiteboard or something, and just flowchart that entire thing out and make sure it is the way that you actually want to do business, and it is in the most efficient process there is. And so just put that out on a whiteboard with no technology considered at all. Don't whiteboard this all this stuff and think, oh, this is where ActiveCampaign is going to come in. This is where Salesforce is going to come in. Like, completely get rid of the software. Don't even think about the software. Just think, okay, we sign up the client at this point. They get email drips at this point and this point and this point. This other thing happens over here. Maybe I sign it to a team member, whatever. That's what you need to flowchart out. And just figure out, what does your business look like from a process perspective. That brings me to point number two, is the other thing you got to consider is your team. Like, okay, there's two things to consider. So point number two, but there's point A and B underneath point number two, is who needs to have access to this software. So there's your team, employees, right? And there's also clients. Do clients need to have access to the things that you are doing within this software? You're only going to see that in project management software where you're collaborating with a client and like this is a centralized place. I don't know, like there's certain softwares that have that capability, but not all of them do. And so that's one thing you need to think about, is like, do you need to have that capability? Is like, who needs access to the software? Point number three is efficiency. And so what I mean by that is, like, whenever you're flow charting out your processes, you need to be as efficient as possible. From a tech perspective, from a software perspective, what this means is like, are there things in your processes that can be done in an automated way, or does it have to be done by an actual person? Because if it can be done in an automated way, especially your small transactional things, like, hey, when someone does this, an email gets sent out to that person. That can be automated. Obviously, someone can do that manually, but in my opinion, like if you can do something that transactional and a piece of software can take care of that for you, to me, that has my vote all day, every day. But it just depends on your processes. For example, if one of the things you want to do is send out an email on your client's birthday, maybe your CRM has that trigger where it's like, hey, today is the client's birthday, so I want to send an email out to the client, right? But it all depends too. If you want that just standardized, like robotic email that just says, hey, it's your birthday, we've been thinking about you. Or if your process involves you and your team to get together and do a selfie video and says, hey, Steve, happy birthday from the Dripify team. We just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. Enjoy your day. And that video has to be sent out, like it has to be done, right? It has to be done on that day. It's personalized, and that probably has to be sent out manually. So if that is your process, then that feature in the CRM or project management software is not going to be as important. So efficiency is going to be a key in picking out your tech when it comes to automation. So think about those things in your business, like what do you want automated and what do you not want automated? The last part of this cure is you need to think about scale. You need to think about growth. One of the biggest mistakes that I made, and I won't mention the software that I chose, but back when I was a freelancer, I was by myself, there was a piece of software that I chose that was really good. It was really great software, but at the time, it was specifically designed for solo entrepreneurs. It was not built and designed for a team. And so I had to go through the painstaking process of switching CRMs and project management softwares like during growth. Let me tell you, that's just a big interruption. Whenever you're in growth mode, like that's the last thing you want to do is switch software. So the last thing you need to consider is, are you going to grow or are you going to stay small, boutique, or by yourself, just depending on what your business is. It's up to you. There's no wrong answer. There's no right answer. It just depends on what you want to achieve. And I promise you, if you reverse engineer this process and you start with your business process and then you pick the right tech, I just saved you a big O headache. And more importantly, money.